Hello everyone, this is Lunch, and I hope you're hungry for some Dragon Ball Super today, because I am doing a deck profile on the Porunga Wish Dragon deck that I got 6th placed with at the Bandai Fest this past weekend. The tournament was super fun, super well run. I know they had a lot of issues with the event, but those were in the other games, so Hooray Masters, our event went off without a hitch, good judges, good calls, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I ended up dropping one game to blue Gogeta aggro, and the big reason I dropped that one is because I ended up with 3 balls in your life, which will happen. So for those of you that don't know, this is one of the leaders out of the new set. On the front side, you can tap it, discard a card to grab 3 Dragon Balls, and then once you have all 7 in your discard, you can add 1 card from Z-Energy to the drop and awaken. Technically it's a wish, but it's basically the same thing. On this side, once per turn, you can play 1 red Piccolo card with energy cost of 1 from your drop, which does draw a card, so we do still have a draw on this side. Notably, our leader can't attack, on either side for that matter. And then you have an active main once per turn, pay 1 red, place all 7 Dragon Balls from your battle area into the drop, draw a card, choose all of you and your opponent's non-Frieza battle cards, place them at the bottom of their deck, and deal 1 damage. So this is very much like a control deck where you're going to play a lot of defensive options, and then between attacks and maybe burning 1 or 2 is kind of how you finish the game out. I'm going to start off with the Dragon Ball themselves. So it's a Dragon Ball, so you play 7 of them, and it's just active main. If your leader is a red Shenron, draw a card. And then if your leader is a red Porunga card, you can place the card from the field to the drop, and your leader gets 5k for the battle. So essentially what we have is, on the front side, you discard 1 to draw 3. You can do that twice. Hopefully in that time you draw 1 of your balls, so you don't have to discard again. I only didn't awaken on turn 2, I think 1 game, where it was a really weird game where I couldn't find my balls. There was a lot of them in life. I did end up winning that one, but because we both ended up being really awkward. And then I'll show you in a second, but you have a bunch of ways to put these into play. And you can use them for effects, or you can use them as combo power on your leader only, which your leader can't attack, so it's only defensive. And if you get all 7, you get to use your ultimate. Next up, we have Namekian Resistance. And this is a field that you're going to want to, optimally, you're going to play it turn 1, but you really want to get it down. Because not only is it, when you play it, you can either send a Dragon Ball or a red Namekian 1 cost from your deck to the drop, which sets up your leader bringing back Piccolo. Or, like in an emergency, if you only get 6 balls, you can use this to get the 7th. The more important part, though, is that once per turn, when a red Vegeta or Frieza's army is played, you can place 1 Dragon Ball from your drop into the battle area. So the reason this is a big deal is because this is basically how you get your additional balls. You'll notice that there are 3, oh, not that one. There's 3 6-cost Frieza's armies in this deck. Zarbon plays 2, Dodoria plays 2, and Frieza doesn't play any by themselves, but that all increases by 1 with the resonance. So you're playing 3, 3, and 1, which is a lot better and helps you get to the 7 a lot quicker. Next, we have Piccolo Revival. This card is what you're bringing back off Porunga. I know there's technically 1 other Piccolo, but it's not nearly as good, so you just play this one. And the important part is that when it's played, it draws. So turn 1, you could also play this if you don't have Resonance. Other than that, it's going to be your card you draw every turn with with your leader. And at minimum, it's draw card 5k combo at some point. You can also pay a red and Union Absorb by placing another Namekian from your drop under it to go into the 5-drop Piccolo from your deck or drop, and I will show you that in a little bit, but that's sometimes you do that as well. I'm going to talk about Zarbon and Dodoria next, because these two are very similar. They both have the effect of when you play them, you get to play 2 Dragon Balls from your drop, and then you both play them both for 1. Zarbon is a blocker dual attack. When it's played, look at a number of cards equal to the number of cards in your battle area, and add 1 red card energy cost 6 or less from your hand, or from your deck to your hand. So what this means is if you have like 7 Dragon Balls, a field, and a couple battle cards, a lot of time you're searching like 10, 12 cards deep into your deck, which with Masters is going to be most, if not all, of your deck because of how many cards we draw in this game. But the important thing is you can get any red card, which is every card main decked in this -3, I believe. And there's some people talking about playing, like, maybe you play a secret rare that's less so you can search it. I still like playing the bigger secret rares, but you can get things like Explosive Dance, and that's like the only deck that can consistently search for those kind of things. So you're pretty consistently going to be Explosive Dancing 3 to 5 times, like, in a row, which is something that isn't as easy for other decks to do. Dodoria has that same effect of playing cards. He draws a card, and then you choose a battle card. It gets -5 this turn for each card in your battle area. I don't think I've ever had this not kill something. A lot of times it's minus like 50, 60k just because of all the cards you have in play. So these two are your bread and butter. You're probably going to be playing at least one of these each turn to try and get up to your 7 balls. The last option we have is Frieza Military Boss. So unlike the other ones, it just draws a card normally, but if you have Residents in play, it will play a ball. Then it has auto limit 1. When this card or your opponent's battle card is played, play a Frieza's Armor token with 1k blocker. It gains barrier and blocker until the end of your opponent's turn. So the reason that this is so good is it gives you barrier blockers. It gives you one on your turn and one on your opponent's turn. And for the most part, pretty much every way to remove it requires your opponent playing a battle card, unless they have something left over from last turn. So you're going to get 2 barrier blockers here, which, in addition to like Zarbon, and you'll see we have free negates and stuff later, just makes it really, really hard for your opponent to get through. It's also a 30k, which is no slouch, so it's killing something or dealing a damage a lot of the time. Next up, we have our 2 free plays, which we have Gohan Distraction. This is just a free negate that we can play once per turn by bouncing a Dragon Ball from our field to our hand, which at first you think is like okay, but then you realize that the Dragon Ball draws a card the next turn we play it. So like this is a free negate that draws a card, which is basically the most powerful one of these we've ever had. It's kind of insane, to be honest. And another cool thing you can do with this card is if you're doing the Wish 7, because a lot of time Gohan, just a 15k once it's on the board. A lot of time when you Wish 7, you can put it back on the bottom of your deck and use it again. This card is absolutely absurd. A free negate that draws 1 is so much more powerful than like any free negate we've had in the past. Next up, we have Krillin Diversion, which is a really unique card with an effect that I don't think I've seen really much before in this game. So it's a counter play, and you can do it for free by bouncing a ball to your hand. So remember, that's a draw 1. So it's a free counter play that draws 1. And as a permanent side, whenever another of your battle cards are removed from the battle area by an opponent's skill, you can place a Dragon Ball from your battle area in the drop instead. And more importantly, 1, that's a replacement effect, and 2, it's not limit 1. So if your opponent, say, plays the 8-drop Goku that blows the whole board up, you can counterplay Krillin. Since it's a replacement effect, it'll be active when their destruction goes off, and you can drop like 6 balls to save 6 things. You can just completely turn off board wipes with this, which is insane against certain decks. And at the very least, it's going to protect a lot of your blockers, because let's say they play an 8-drop Gohan, the one that on attack, discard a card, KO something. Well, if you play Krillin in response, now they have to kill the Krillin or you're going to protect it. This card is really good. I'm only playing 2 of it, though, because with Zarbon, we can search it whenever we want. And a lot of times, it's also not super good against red because minusing, things like that. But against certain things, it's really crazy. I suppose I should actually go over how many. So we're 7 Dragon Balls, 4 Namekians. I'm on 3 Piccolos, but that's one of the things I think I would up to 4 because I had a couple games where I didn't have it at the beginning and that hurt a lot. 4 on the Zarbon Dodoria, 3 on Frieza, and then 4 on the Gohan because the Gohan's crazy. I could definitely see moving Krillin up to 3 depending on how the meta goes, or putting 1 in the side possibly. Another interesting thing is, since it's other cards, if you have 2 Krillins out, they can protect each other, which essentially makes your board impossible to remove unless they're minusing. Basically gives your whole board indestructible, so long as you have enough balls out. Next up, we have Piccolo's Surging Power. So this is the card we evolve on top of the Piccolo. Remember, we're essentially just paying a red to do this. It's a blocker. When it's played, it gives something -15, and it can't be removed by skills until the end of your opponent's turn. So it's a 25k blocker that can't be removed by skills. And then active battle, place a card from under this in the drop, choose one of your opponent's battle cards, it gets -10k for the turn, or for the battle, sorry. And that's not limit 1, so you can do it twice. So you can do things like block with this, remove 2, -20k to kill something. You can do things like use it on separate attacks to make it so 2 attacks don't go through. If your opponent starts getting attacks through, say they have two 20k attackers, you can just be like -10 on the first attack, -10 on the second attack. Essentially completely removes them. Also, that's really important because it makes sure your Piccolo doesn't get stuck under this Piccolo, so you can't bring it back with Porunga. And the fact that you can bring it from deck or drop means I'm only playing 2 because, I mean, possibly they both get locked in life, but that's pretty uncommon. Also, you'll know right away if they're locked in life because you get to look when you play your Dragon Balls. Next up is our super combo. It's just a base super combo. I didn't do anything fancy with this. I'm nervous to play the bottom deck super combos because white can like turn them off and do weird things. Replace this with another super combo if you want, perfectly fine. Another nice thing about the Nail specifically is it can go under Piccolo in an emergency. For Nail Planetary Guardian, this is my favorite card from the new set. So what this is block a revenge, counterattack, play it, choose a card, it gets plus 20k for the battle. So it doesn't negate the attack, but it sets your leader at 35, so they're probably not getting through. And then if you can only play it if these things, and you can activate the counter from hand by paying a life instead. Now, what makes this different from a lot of other pay life negates is you can do this at any time, and there's no limit 1 on any of this. So you can do things like play 2 to 3 nails in a turn, which is something that most decks can't do with their free negates. And between this and Gohan, you basically have infinite free negates all the time. Another big thing about this is your leader does not take any life when you awaken. So you can awaken at 7-8 life sometimes, which gives you a bunch of life to pay with the nail. Alright. Next we have Explosive Dance. I play it as a 4 of. There's multiple times in the tournament. I Explosive Dance 5 times in a row, and I'll show you that in the future. And the thing about Explosive Dance is, one Explosive Dance a lot of time isn't super hard to play around, especially for red decks that play like cards that let you combo rest mode cards, or decks like Goku, Yellow, where they just have a lot of Z energy. However, notably, a lot of the new decks don't really build Z energy that fast. Also, once you start chaining them together, even those decks run out of Z energy to use. So by your 3rd, 4th Explosive Dance, you're really going to be floodgating them hard. Plus, since we have free negates, you can floodgate them and then negate their leader, and a lot of times it just turns their turn off if they don't have any Z energy. 2 Krillin Surprise Move. This is another card I really like from the new set. It actually isn't linked to this deck, but I think this card's actually crazy. So it's a dual attack, and when it attacks a battle card, your opponent can't combo. It's also, you play it limit 1 red by paying 1, draw a card, play it from your hand, and the turn you play it, it can attack active mode battle cards. So this is basically your barrier removal in the deck, which is something red doesn't have a lot of access to. But if they have a barrier card, whether it's an active or rest, Krillin can attack it. Sure, you might have to put a little bit of combo power in, but it's going to die because they can't combo back. Just be careful. Things like Z-extras, things like abilities that give +5, that'll still work. Senzu Bean, that kind of stuff. It just prevents combos. But it's a really, really strong card. It only costs 1, and it draws. It also is pretty good at killing unisons if you need to do that, because it's a dual attacker. Next up, we have 2 Son Goku Unlimited Potential. Just insane red card. I play 2 of them. The reason I don't play more is because I want to play Krillin, and I'm already at 57 cards in this deck. And there's just a lot of things that I want to play. Plus, if I want to search it, you just search it with Zarbon. 2 Cellmax Return of Despair. There's a lot of things that could go in this slot. Pretty much any of the 8-drop red cards. I like this because I like the extra blocker, just because it makes it even more annoying to get through my deck. Notably, this is something you can't search off Zarbon because it's 6 or less. For my Secret Rare, I play SSB Vegito, mostly because it allows me to get my 5th copy of Explosive Dance. It's also barrier removal. If you don't have Krillin, you need to get through a barrier card. It's really good for that. And obviously it's a triple striker, but the main thing we're doing with this is grabbing Explosive Dance back. Now, the next 5 cards you're going to see, I'm going to kind of talk about them all at once. These are all utility cards. So since we play Zarbon, that lets us grab any red card 6 or less, usually throughout our whole deck, we can play a bunch of 1-ofs that normally would be inconsistent. So Destructo Disc is removal, barrier removal. Pilaf, Mai, and Broly are all kind of silver bullet cards against blue decks. Broly can be good against other decks too. And one of Violet Rays is really good against Nova Shenron plus some other decks. But notably, if we don't want these, we just get rid of them. If we do want them, we just grab them with Zarbon. So we pretty much always have access to them, even though we're only playing one copy. This is also, these suite of 5 cards are really easy to side out if you want to side something else in, which is really important. Z-Deck isn't super important. I am going to talk a little bit about the new Frieza's Army Invades. It's a Z card unique to this deck, 1 and 1. When you play it, you discard a card and grab back a red Frieza's Army energy cost of 6. So this can help you, especially like if Porunga early in the game, you need to pitch a 6-drop in order to search your Dragon Ball, something like that. It also has active battle for a red. You can place 3 Dragon Balls from your drop in the battle area, choose a red card, it gives plus 10k. Pretty much the only time I ever use this is if I need the Dragon Balls to like finish the game off or something. I usually actually just make the normal 10x Kamehameha, because I really like the 15k bonus you can get for 1 Z energy. And obviously we need to play one of these so we can play Explosive Dance. More and more I've just been playing the 10x Kamehameha. Frieza's Army is so really specific. The only time I play this one instead is if I need to grab a 6-drop, basically. I want to talk about Frieza Unrestricted Power because this card is really, really good in this deck. So it's a 2-drop Frieza's Army, so it's going to trigger Frieza's Army stuff. And then as many times as you want, you can discard a card. It gets plus 10k and you minus 20 something. Then if it has 40k or more, it gets critical and barrier. So this just becomes a massive attacker. But more importantly, let's say your opponent's floodgating you and you can't get your Krillin attacks through to kill things, you're just having a hard time getting rid of the board. You can sack like 4 or 5 cards to this, because a lot of times you're going to be up cards with this deck. And just blow their whole board up and not have to worry about it. So it's super useful for that. It's also only 1 Z energy, and this deck does not get Z energy very well. So it's really important that we have a 1 Z energy option. The rest of these, honestly, I guess I'll talk about Defender. Defender is really good because it's an extra damage. A lot of games you can go, all right, Defender take you down to from 4 to 3, and then Porunga takes him down to 2, and now all of a sudden they're in a really threatened spot. Other than that, just a lot of generic ones. I do like playing Crimson Goku because I like having a Unison option, Rush Attack Goku. I play 14 and 15 because I play the 8-drop Cellmax. I might switch this for something else if I didn't have that. And then I just kind of threw Cellmax in because I didn't know what else to play, to be honest. That could probably be another Z-extra if you really wanted it to be. For the side deck, oh, it starts with these flipped over. That's funny. So we're going to play an extra crown that we can side in for blue. A Jiren because I don't want to get Android 17 by that stupid new Kefla deck. 2 Shu Pilaf's Admirer. This is going to be for the Mill 4 negate a lot of times. It also comes in against red, so like red and black. 3 Protector. Against red specifically, a lot of times you want to have an alternate floodgate to dance. I say red specifically, Vegeta specifically. Or like yellow Goku is a big one too, where dance isn't quite as impactful. A lot of times I'll go like 2 or 3 dances and then 3 protectors, just so we have an alternate floodgate. 2 Deborah, this is just for discard. 2 Smoke Dragon. This deck doesn't kill Unisons very well. Kills battle cards pretty good, but Unisons is kind of rough. You kind of have to attack them. So I put some Smoke Dragons in. 1 Violent Rays. 1 extra Krillin. And 2 Gohan. So you'll notice that Broly, Violent Rays, and Krillin are all in the main deck as well. These are a lot of times things we put in depending on matchup. Gohan, I think, might be moving to the main deck. It was really good a lot of the times that I used it, especially against things like Gamma. So I think in the future those might end up getting moved to the main deck. I'm not sure yet. Notably, I mentioned earlier, my main deck is 57 cards. And that's kind of fine because of 2 combinations. 1, you're going to be drawing 7 on the first 2 turns with your Dragon Balls. And if you play 50 specifically, you're kind of going to deck out on turn 6 or 7. Especially since, you know, Dodoria draws, Frieza draws. If you add your balls to hand, the way to get them to the drop is to draw a card. Krillin draws. Like, it's just a ton of draw in this deck. In order to get your Piccolo back, you got to draw. So I was really sketched out about playing 50 for that reason. The other thing is, since we have the Zarbon to search whatever we want, the only time consistency really hurts us is on our initial hand, getting Piccolo, which is why I think Piccolo should be up to 4 in this deck. And then with 8 copies of ways to get Piccolo on turn 1, I feel a lot better about having that. But yeah, that's the deck I played. It performed extremely well. If you like a deck where you get to sit and be annoying, this is the perfect deck. This deck has the best boards I've seen since Bulma in terms of like unbreakable stuff. Like a lot of times my opponents would be staring down 3 to 6 blockers, 2 of which have barrier, 3 of which have barrier if you have Goku out, and then you dance them, and it's like they got to put so much into getting attack show to even go get close to your leader. And then even if they do that, you've got like Destructo Disc, the God of Dreams Dragon Ball takes away a 15k attack. It's just so hard to get damage through against this deck. It's also a lot of fun. You get to do a lot of actions, planning ahead with the Dragon Balls, because making sure you have 7 when you want to get 7. There's no way to like put a bunch of Dragon Balls in play. The maximum is 5. And in order to do that, you have to have both Zarbon and Doria. Otherwise, the max is 3. So like you actually have to do a lot of planning with the Dragon Balls in order to get them in the right way. Do you want extras for Gohan? If you have 7 and you bounce for a Gohan, now how do you put one in play the next turn? I also want to speak for a second on a little bit of controversy. I know in the tournament, some people were playing it where like they weren't bottom decking their battle cards for Porunga. Don't let them do that. Porunga bottom decks both sides except Frieza. And your own barrier stuff goes because you're selecting it, not your opponent, notably. Which I know people had a lot of confusion with too. Which, to be fair, it's a new deck. That happens. There was a couple early rounds where I was playing things a couple wrong too. Which, as soon as I figured out that was the case, I switched right up. It's pretty crazy what you get when it's a new deck. This game is pretty complicated. But luckily, by the later rounds, I was playing everything correctly. Yeah, so if you have any questions, any comments, leave them below. I hope you enjoy this deck. I had a ton of fun with it, and I'm going to be refining it in the future. I've already got a couple of ideas of things I want to change, new cards I want to put in. And yeah, please like, subscribe, and you all have a wonderful day.